Hey everyone, Ken Sparkle. Today I'm gonna talk about let's just say it's about a British TV show in my country and it's called EastEnders. Well basically it's actually a BBC program. Let's just say because BBC is the company who does all kind of programs like this sort of thing in the UK, and and they also do like BBC News or something like that, or BBC Weather, something like that. So let's just focus on about EastEnders. So basically, the reason I'm gonna talk about EastEnders is that, well, to be honest with you guys, I have to admit that I watched EastEnders like since 2016. Well, let's just say the main reason I started watching that on that time was because I told you guys that I have this sort of crush thing on this actor who used to play Bobby Beale on EastEnders. Well, let's just say the actor I was talking about was Elliot Carrington, and so let's just say he's probably one of the best reason I could ever like EastEnders because he's my favorite character, Bobby Beale. And let's just not forget that I also like Tiffany Butcher or Tiffany Dean, whatever people call her in my country. But let's just say she also my favorite character from EastEnders, and she actually played by my favorite actress, Maisie Smith. but don't get yourself confused because I don't fancy her really, but I do like her. But I just like Maisie Smith because she's the best. Let's just say she has been in the show when she was a little girl, and it's sad to be honest because Maisie Smith have has this announcement saying that she's going to leave sometime in a couple of weeks, and I actually felt sad. I mean, I'm gonna miss her so much, the way I miss Elliot Carrington who plays Bobby Beale. I mean, so sad. But anyway, but it's not really much to worry about because I can always watch Maisie Smith on other shows, whatever she comes on in the future. I mean, she might end up coming on I'm Big Celebrity, or she might return to this other show called Strictly Come Dancing, or maybe she could go to Emmerdale, or maybe Coronation Street, or maybe Casualty, or Doctor Who, whatever. But I believe I'm not too sure whether it's true, but I'm sure that she's actually a fan of Doctor Who, because I remember this sort of video saying that she likes David Tennant. David Tennant is my favorite too. I mean, wow. I'm glad that I'm not the only one who likes David Tennant because he's my best favorite doctor in the whole world. But I also like Christopher Eccleston, who plays the ninth Doctor, number 9, and this other guy called Matt Smith. He plays the 11th Doctor. Well, let's just say those 3 men, I prefer them as a Doctor in my opinion. And let's not mention about this woman who plays a doctor right now, but thank God she's no longer to be a doctor and she's leaving. Thank God for that. So let's just say that EastEnders, let's just say it's the best show I've ever seen. So let's just see, how did I start watching EastEnders? Well, not since 2016, but it was 2016 when I first started watching it on BBC iPlayer, where I watched the program, or sometime on TV. But so let's just say the first time I saw EastEnders was when I was a little girl, and it was sometime in 2009. So let's just say it's between 2009 to 2010. And I remember that one of the episodes when the Queen Vic is actually a pub where people go for a drink. And I remember that scene when they're in that pub and there was a big massive fire and everyone was like screaming, shouting, crying, and all the sirens of the ambulance and police were arriving and that. And I remember, and I also remember the other episode after that episode when Peggy Mitchell decided to leave for good. Let's just say I just remember that scene so well, and I just remember I was like behind the living room door when I saw that scene because let's just say because I was too embarrassed to see my parents seeing me watching it as well because well, don't get me wrong, I was really little at that moment at the time, and I also remember the other moment sometime back into 2012, and I remember the other episode when Ben Mitchell was in this van sort of thing because he was being arrested after he murdered this character called Heather Trott. And let's just say that I just remembered this scene when he was inside the van, and then the end credits started playing, and I did the same thing again. I just mentioned behind the door in the living room. That was in my old house. Let's just say because if you remember my video with seeing me face to face, that's my new home. So let's just say, but let's not mention about house. So anyway, I like all the characters, and I also like every storyline. But let's just say my favorite storyline of all time is who killed Lucy Beale. Is that well? Let's just say who's Lucy Beale? Well, she's actually Bobby's sister, well, half sister, because Bobby's father, Ian, he had married more than once, and he has different kids from like different moms, and let's just say I don't know, but that's just my favorite storyline. And I also remember the other time when like I mentioned, I started watching EastEnders probably on iPlayer. It's because I remember seeing the Beales and the Mitchells were in the Beale house living room, and they were like sort of sad and having a meeting because Peggy Mitchell has passed away. And Bobby Beale was there with Elliot Carlton playing him at that time, and that's the moment I started to have a crush on him. I mean, wow, really? I was like, seriously, myself having a crush on the boy already, and well, I just like him sort of way, and so yeah, I just like every single episodes from the episodes that I watched after these past years, and let's start to mention I also watched the old EastEnders episodes from the 80s because I remember EastEnders first started in the 80s. Well, let's just say even though I'm not an 80s child, but I just liking the 80s episode as well and the 90s. So let's just say I just love EastEnders so much, and I might as well do more of a British shows that I could think about doing in the near future, like in the week or next week. So if you're interested, I can always talk about things what you guys like, things that you watch in the US or which country you're from. Just let me know if in the comments. So anyway, I hope you like my video and my review about EastEnders, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.